Now that you've watched all videos on McCoy TV and you have all your SAP applications and processes all set up, we're ready to do some analytics in Microsoft Power BI. Wait, what? You heard right. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to bring your SAP data into Power BI reports and dashboards.
My name is Wessel Verheijen and I'm a business intelligence consultant at McCoy. I've been working with Power BI for 4 years and I'm currently the leading expert on Power BI and SAP data at McCoy. In this video, I'll be taking you through the best practices for connecting your SAP data to Power BI as stated by Microsoft and our own experience from implementing these solutions at our customers. Let's start at the back end. When you're connecting to a multi-dimensional source like SAP Business Warehouse, our best practice is to flatten your BEX queries before pushing them to Power BI. You can do this by adding all characteristic fields to the free characteristics in your query. This way you can use the query builder in Power BI to assemble all the fields you need. Also make sure to flatten your key figures by removing calculations and variables from your query, since they won't behave correctly in Power BI. Don't worry, you can add these later in your Power BI report. Okay, great! We have our BEX query optimized for Power BI. Let's find out how we can connect to our query. There are basically two options when connecting your data to Power BI: import and DirectQuery. Let me show you how they work. When we're using the import connection, we send a Power BI query to our data source. In this example, the data source is our optimized BEX query. Then data is imported into the cache memory of the Power BI report. All interactions with the report are kept within the cache data model. This helps to reduce the load of our source system and allows you to use the full analytic engine of Power BI for data modeling and analysis. Before you do this, make sure that your organization allows exporting data to third-party sources. We can also use DirectQuery to connect to our data. In this case, we configure the query just like we did using the import connection, but with DirectQuery, no data is imported into the report. Instead, Power BI sends a new query to the data source for every interaction with the report. This solution will work if near real-time data is required and we have a relatively small data set that can load in a matter of seconds. Also be aware that Power BI currently only supports one DirectQuery connection per report. Our best practice is to always use data import if possible, so you can use the Power BI analytic engine to its full capacity and there's no load on the source system. Now that we've optimized our query for Power BI and connected to our SAP source system, it's time to gather data into the report. After connecting our SAP source system, we will be using the Power BI query editor to configure the data that we need for our report. Let me show you how this works.
First thing we see after connecting to our SAP application server is a list of catalogs. At the $InfoCube catalog, we find all the info providers in the source. The info providers shown below all have at least one query to make it easier to find the one we need. You can also use the search bar at the top to find our query. When we found our query, we find the key figures and characteristics in a hierarchy. The characteristic always has a level 1 value. We can add other properties like name or key fields. Beware that this adds one for every level of the hierarchy. The same applies when selecting key figures. We can add formatted values or unit of measures for all selected key figures in the measure properties. When selecting characteristics, make sure you're not selecting the top level of the list, or you will add every level and property for that characteristic to your query.
Congratulations! We have successfully connected our SAP data to a Power BI report. You are now ready to start building engaging data stories for your business users. Something like this. Next time you're connecting data to Power BI, don't forget these best practices. Use new or existing BEX queries and optimize them for Power BI by flattening them. Use an import connection so you can use the full analytic and modeling capabilities of Power BI. Don't select all the characteristics and properties at once. Instead, carefully select the fields and properties you need for your report. You can always go back and add more.
Did you learn anything new today? Make sure to like this video. What other topics on Power BI are you interested in? Leave them in the comments and we will answer them personally. Also make sure to subscribe to McCoy TV and click on the little bell icon so you won't miss the next video. Thank you for watching McCoy TV. Bye bye.